What is going on, everyone? Anthony here, and welcome back to another video here on Let's Talk Resident Evil. And in today's video, we're talking more about Resident Evil 9. And it's been a little quiet since Tokyo Game Show. There was interviews and stuff like that. There wasn't new footage shown besides, some of the Switch 2 footage, some of the interviews that were given by Nakanishi and everybody else. And me and John did videos talking about that stuff. Now we are kind of in this in-between on whether or not we were going to get pre-orders, when are they going to actually announce a pre-order date, and this past weekend at New York City Comic-Con, they in fact announced a pre-order date of October 29th for Resident Evil 9. A lot of fans were wondering, where is the cover art? When is the pre-order? When can we get our hands on the collector's edition? All this should be answered on October 29th. Now, Capcom mentioned there is not going to be any new footage, new trailers, or anything with this announcement. It will just be dropping sometime on the 29th, which is a Wednesday. So, less than 2 weeks from now. We don't have to wait much longer. I'm sure we're going to get cover art with Grace on it, as well as a Grace statue as well, and I'm fine with that. Now, we don't know if they are going to have a collector's edition that is exclusive to GameStop, but if it was up to me, considering the state of GameStop and how they've been treating the collector's editions the last few Resident Evil releases, I would say a smart business move would be to avoid that entirely. Now, that's the only thing they got for New York City Comic-Con as far as news, as far as something new to pull from it. Now, of course, there was a demo on hand. Now, unfortunately, I did not go to New York City Comic-Con myself. I was thinking about it. I was this close. It just didn't really work out this time of year. But we do have our buddy, Purple Herb, also known as Mountain Arts Review. So he has two channels, Purple Herb and Mountain Arts Review, or Mars for short. And he's a really good guy, and he actually got some footage and coverage on the floor. And we're going to actually talk to him right now about his experience with the demo and going through New York Comic-Con and seeing all the Capcom stuff they had set up. Because Comic-Cons typically, or at least in recent years, haven't really showcased games at all or exclusive demos. So it has been quite some time, especially in New York City specifically, that they've had this at a Comic-Con. And let's see what he had to say about it. All right, guys, so we have Purple Herb, as well, also known as Mountain Arts Review, in the house to let us know about his New York City Comic-Con experience. How was it for you, man, and how have you been?
Well, I've been great, and the experience was even better, honestly. I just want to paint it out for you all, how it started. Going into the con, I really, I mainly wanted to go for the Mars channel, right, for the action figures, and then I thought to myself, you know what, I'm actually not going to go. I'm just going to forget about it. But then I remember during your live stream, we're talking about, Resident Evil being at the Capcom and just the excitement and just so hyped everyone was in the chat that I was like, you know what, let's go. And this, of course, the potential of you being there as well and getting the chance to meet you. So I was like, all right, let's make it happen. So the main focus went from our channel on the action figures, and it shifted completely to Resident Evil because, at the core, we love Resident Evil. So we get to the Comic-Con, and we pass a booth at Machinations, an action figure, and then off in the distance, you can see the Capcom booth, and you see a big white panel for Resident Evil Requiem, and you'll see it in the video. And I'm just excited walking there. But when you get there, the line is crazy. They capped off the line. There was a line for a line, which was pretty wild.
Wow. We have the Resident Evil Requiem booth. We're going to be playing the demo here in a bit. Right now, the line is capped, unfortunately. We will be back to play Resident Evil Requiem.
Yeah, so that was exciting to see. On the left, you could see Progmata was there, and that was an open booth. There wasn't a big line for that. And then on the right, they had Onimusha, which I was excited to see that. We actually got some footage of that gameplay, and we had a guy say, hey, you can't record here. And we didn't know because Resident Evil was a big white, small building for itself. It took up a big square, if that makes sense, for the whole overall booth. And on the left, on the right, you had Progmata and you had Onimusha exposed, but in the center you had Resident Evil, and you couldn't see what was going on. You didn't know what was going. Yeah, it was it was covered up. So you just didn't know. So I thought, okay, well, I guess we can record all the other stuff, right? And so they was no, you can't do that.
We can see Onimusha, and you can see right here, Onimusha looks really badass. Can't wait to check this out. We will be back to play some Capcom Onimusha.
So we ended up leaving, and then we made our way back, and we made the line. Because, again, the main reason we went to the con was for Resident Evil, to play the demo in person. So we went back to the line, and then we had to wait, and they told us it's going to be like an hour and 30 minutes. So within that time, we're in the first line to get into the next line, which goes into the building to play the game. And while we're there, we're beside a cosplayer who's like cosplaying Barry Burton. So you'll see him as well. And he was very excited. He was like an ex-military guy, and he was waiting for like all the Leons and Adas to cross by, take photos and things like that. So we had someone to talk to while we're in the line. And we had asked them if they knew about Let's Talk Resident Evil. And they was like, yeah, I know. I just subscribed to them recently.
Wow.
During a live stream. Yeah, like they just did a live stream. And I'm like, damn, I wonder if that's the live stream where I decided, like, yeah, we're going to the con. So maybe he was thinking the same thing too.
Right. That's cool.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Purple Herb. I'm here representing Let's Talk Resident Evil. We're about to play the Resident Evil Requiem demo. But right now with me, we've got Barry Burton. I just want to know, are you excited to play the demo here in an hour about?
Yes, I absolutely am excited. I dressed up for the occasion, as you can see. And after the demo, the Capcom panel, then the photo shoot later on tonight for Resident Evil, I can't wait. It's exciting.
Are you going to be featured in this game anywhere?
I plead the fifth on that one.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get back to you after we played the demo. Thank you.
And then we got to like the point where we're next in line for the other line. Okay, so remember there's like a queue, and then there's the actual line. So we got to the end of the queue, and I was asking the guy, like, how many people are in the building right now? Because just so I can figure out the map, because I had to be somewhere else for like another thing for Mars. Like this was kind of important. So I wanted to like know how many people are going in at one time. And it was 24 people going in at one time and playing for about 30 minutes. Okay. 24 people. Then that's when we got into the line. We're queued in now. Like we're about to play. And obviously everyone's excited. Like the build up is incredible. People are taking selfies and things like that. And what's crazy actually is before we got into the line to get into play, when we were in the queue line, you can see through the curtain, you can see the lighter. So it's like, oh, I can actually like see inside, and like you can see Grace holding the lighter and like going back and forth and stuff. So that was pretty nice to see. Yeah, like kind of like building up that anticipation going in to play the game. So we finally go in the building, and the building is meant to like replicate like the hospital or wherever they are. Like, what is it called that they're at now? Like the actual name of it? Like
the Chronic Care Center, I think, is what we believe it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how the inside is designed to like mimic that. And I think like the best example would be like the room where Big Mama like walks in and you can turn on the lights and she like freaks out and stuff. Like it like mimics that room.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's how that was. And when you went in, there was rows of 4 tables. So there's like 3 rows of 4 tables, and that's what, how you get to 24. And I played beside Barry and stuff. And, when you first sit down, it's just like, the Resident Evil title card, and you can like press like X to start, So when you first play, it cuts automatically to the cutscene where Grace is like hanging upside down and she has to wiggle and all of that. Now, for like the head back feeding from the controller, you feel everything during the cutscene. Like when the blood is dripping, you feel that in the controller. When she's shaking, you feel that in the controller. Like when she's cutting to get free, like you feel everything. It's like enhanced during cutscenes. But now when you start walking around, you really don't feel everything like you do in the cutscene. So just, so you're aware. The one thing I will say is that when I first looked at the game, the graphics, it seems like they were downscaled a bit. Like it seems like playing the demo, it didn't look as good as it should.
Okay.
So that was like the one takeaway I took from that. Is
do you
like,
think
okay,
it was
it's
on a
like,
Pro, or do you think this was on a standard 5? Like, I know you couldn't see the console, I don't think, right? So it's like you're kind of just wondering, like, what am I playing this on? Or, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a Pro. I just feel like the Pro probably, like, for a demo, I mean, and 24 at that, I don't think it was a Pro, honestly. And I don't know if it was a computer or not. I would say probably, like, looking at the graphics, you would think it was a PS5.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
okay.
That makes sense.
So the first thing I did was like, I automatically hit the options. I did not play in third person, so I forgot to do that, honestly. I forgot to do that.
That's
Yeah,
fun.
because I'm used to Resident Evil 7, you know, like first person. So I was like, okay, like I'm gonna play it the way it was intended, like first person. So that's what I did. Um, so the first thing I wanted to see is if I could adjust the sensitivity, because I know if I adjust the sensitivity, I can move quicker. I can just like it would flow quicker. Okay, that's like with sensitivity and stuff for me at least. And I couldn't do that. So I was like, okay, so like they're really like locking you in, like you're not going to be able to cut any corners or like make your tweaks. Like you have to play it as it is. And going around and playing it, like, you know, you first get in and we've seen the demo, you've seen the demo, like we've all seen the demo. So by now it's like our backhand, like we know kind of where to go. And I was just like rushing through trying to get everything and not really observe everything because it's all been covered as it is. And I will say, like, it was quite an experience. Big Mama, on the other hand, like, very terrifying. You know, you see her coming down from the ceiling and things like that. She actually runs. I don't know if anyone says that, but she runs.
Oh, okay.
There was times I was yelling because I would be running. I was trying to be slick. For an example, I would like close the door, come around, and as soon as she comes in, like run past her and run down the hall. Like, no, she was chasing after me, running after me. You could hear her big feet like hitting the ground running.
Okay. So she's got some speed to her. Yeah.
Yeah, and she snatched me up and bit me and everything. So after that, you know, the one thing I thought was pretty cool was in that one room where we've seen it everywhere, all over the internet, where you hit the light and she gets burned. So what I did was, instead of hitting the light as soon as she walked in, or instead of having the lights on when she walked in, I had them off, and I was hiding behind like the couch. So when she came in and came around and she was behind the couch, that's when I ran and I hit the lights. So like you could pretty much trap her in there with the lights on. So that was pretty cool too. And then she like ran through and bust down the door to come at me. So it was just like very, very chilling, of course. The atmosphere was nice. The music was good. And like I said, we pretty much seen this demo ticking through, and I rushed through it. And I was actually the first one to finish the demo. They're like, "Oh, congratulations! Like you finished it." And they're like, "What? He finished it?" And I was like, "Yeah." So what? Do I get a gold pin now? Because once you play the game and once you beat the demo, they actually give you a pin.
That is sick.
So, so I was like, "Well, damn! If I was the first one out of 24 to beat the demo, do I get a gold one?" And they were like, "No, of course not." But yeah. So that's pretty much how it went, and but yeah, the game is terrifying, honestly. And I played in first person. Everything was great. I had a good time.
Do you think it's the like the best feeling first person experience out of Resident Evil 7 and 8, as far as like how it flows, how it's kind of more of a slower burn horror? Do you think this works? Do you think it kind of feels more like RE7 in that instance, considering this is the RE7 director, Nakanishi's back, you know? Do you think that it's kind of more in that vibe, like they've been saying, like RE7 and RE2 remake with that more slower burn kind of feeling?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I would even go as far as to say, like, you know how janky like Resident Evil 7 could be, like if you're trying to like perform fast maneuvers and things like that. That's how it kind of felt.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, because again, a lot of us are kind of chomping at the bit to see when they will let this demo be public. So, like I said, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get out to New York Comic Con, but at least, like, you know, hearing your experience and hearing obviously everybody else online, they've been giving it praise. So it's not surprising that it gave you a good experience, even if it's something that you kind of already knew. You know, from the back of your hand, you still got something new out of it. You still found something that wasn't necessarily shown in all the gameplay, which is pretty cool.
And like, what I will say is, like, I guess like my theory would be like for Resident Evil 7, because like Ethan wasn't that experienced like combat wise, so it kind of was like if you're trying to perform those fast maneuvers, but you can't. Whereas like in Village, you kind of can be a little bit quicker, things
more
like
tactical.
that, and jump through window.
Yeah,
more tactical because he's got that experience. So like. But with Grace, it seems like you're playing as like an Ethan who's unexperienced, at least in the first person perspective, I would say. Okay. So should there be like another experienced character later on in first person, I would suspect the movement would be much better.
Yeah, because I've heard from people that have played it at least in third person, or have seen people talk about it, where they said that it doesn't have that like janky third person feeling that Village had, you know, that problem where it was kind of like slapped on and it wasn't really as fluid. So it's cool to hear, at least, I know you only did first person, but from what other people are saying.
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. Because again, from what I'm hearing, like other people are saying that it's just greatly improved. It doesn't feel like it was like a last minute addition. It was something that they kept in mind the whole time. And like as you know the stalker enemy, as she drops in or little different things happen, you're only going to experience that in certain camera angles. So I think that's why it'll be cool for once like me and John dive into it on opening day, you know, we'll probably see who, you know, wants to vote. Like we'll probably have a poll and see who wants to vote for first or third person, but we'll definitely be playing it in both perspectives just to get everything and just to kind of see those experiences. But that's really cool that it's still, you know, held your interest and it surprised you along the way. And, you know, did you get a chance to check out, like was there like merch at all? Did they have like, you know, other stuff for sale for RE9? Like what did they have there as far as like the booths that you could go to, besides just the gaming ones?
Yeah. So, I mean, no, like the booth, like it was straight to the point. Like it was like the booths were just games. Like that was it. There was no merch. I mean, there was plenty of like signs with QR codes, like Resident Evil, like Amazon. You can go and get stuff and like merch, but that was it. It was just the game. Like that was the focus.
Okay, and then the Capcom panel, which of course people know there wasn't anything new at this panel. The only thing that they said was that pre-orders are in fact going live, and that's going to be on what's the date here? It's the 29th. So the 29th of October is going to be the pre-order date. So that broke from what you posted, and everyone was freaking out. Like, oh my God, we're finally going to get the pre-order. We're probably, and so with that all being said, you know, there's a lot of speculation and rumors out there of like, oh, you know, we haven't seen the cover yet because, you know, Leon could be on the cover, or we haven't seen the collector's edition yet because he could be the set. I think this is a situation where I'm not denying Leon's in the game, right? Like, I think that he might make an appearance, but I think that the cover will probably just be Grace specifically. You know, when we see that on the 29th. What are your thoughts on that as far as, like, do you think that we're going to just get, like, you know, do you think it's going to be a collector's edition statue of Grace? Do you think that's what we're going to be getting? Because that's what I think at this point. I feel like it has to be Grace.
Yeah, like definitely. It's definitely going to be great. So I wouldn't even have the expectation of like, oh, Leon's going to be on the cover.
Right, because it'll make people disappointed, right?
That.
Yeah, exactly. Because once you make those false expectations or you believe all the leaks, it lets you down because, you know, you think it's fact, and then, you know what I mean? Like, you hear me talk about it all the time, me and John, like, we're just like, dude, like, if you just believe every single leak and rumor, it's just going to let you down at the end of the day when it's not true. So, so are you somebody that you'll dive in and grab this collector's edition, or what edition are you going to try to go for?
Well, for starters, I just want to go back real quick and say, like, Capcom, they even confirmed, like, underneath the listing, like, hey, we're gonna have like a new clip video, but nothing new is going to be shown. So, like, any expectation of like Leon or anybody is like out the window already.
That's true, right?
But as far as like getting which edition, like, obviously you got to go for the collectors, even if it is Grace, you know, like, you still go for the collectors. I mean, always, because there's, even if Grace isn't like your highlight, like if it's not Leon, it's no deal for you. I mean, there's other extra bonuses that you get inside of there too that could hold more value to you than just a statue of Grace.
Yeah, potentially a steelbook, you know, like they did with Village, where like some of the collector's editions didn't have the steelbooks in there. You had to get them separately from like Best Buy or stuff like that. But it's cool that like Village had a steelbook in there, you know, and so maybe 9 will as well. And of course, they haven't said anything officially as far as if there even will be a collector's edition. But in the tradition, they usually will have a collector's edition. Now, my biggest thing is I hope that they do not make this collector's edition a GameStop exclusive. Please, Capcom, I really hope that they listen, and I hope that they know that there's been more than a few hundred GameStops that have closed since Resident Evil 4 Remake came out, and since that whole debacle happened. Every single time I feel like there's always a problem. I just hope that it's just, you know, it's on your Amazons, it's at Best Buy, it's at Target, it's in other retailers, because if they do a GameStop exclusive, man, that is just going to be a bummer. As far as, like, you know, not only for us to, you know, we may or may not be able to get it because of that, but also people's pre-orders getting canceled and, like, them not having enough supply. So, like, I think me and you both and everyone watching and listening to this would be really disappointed if they go that route again. They have to read the room and see that GameStop is clearly, you know, on its way out. It's still around, sure, but like I only have one location that's like drivable at this point that isn't like 40 minutes away. Like it sucks. You know, I lost my local one that I was going to since I was a kid, like this past year. So it's becoming more few and far between. So I think if you're doing a collector's edition, it's, you know, coming on the heels of the 30th anniversary, you should make this thing available for everybody and other retailers, whether you have it on just your website, like Capcom has it on their website, or obviously you always have PlayAsia for the imported version. But like, I just want them to make this more attainable. What do you think about that as far as like the whole collector's edition GameStop thing that was going on with RE4 Remake? Like, because that was pretty disappointing for a lot of fans.
Yeah, well, I definitely relate with the whole GameStop thing. Like my recent GameStop just closed too, like where I got Resident Evil 3 from, Village Collectors and 4 Collectors. Like it's gone out the, gone. But I think Capcom, if they were to go with GameStop again, would be a bad business move, especially when, bro, you've got 2 million people having this figure on the wish list. Like you, and with, with tariffs and stuff like that, like, the collectors may cost $300, folks. Like that's a fact. Like
that's true.
It's gonna be up there.
Right.
So like with 2 million people who have wish listed the game, plus like everything else, it's probably going to sell for $300, and they should have it on their website. Like Capcom's website would be the best way. Like, why wouldn't you have it on your website? Like,
at that point,
why use Exterior when you can just do it yourself? You're big enough to do it yourself now.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And I think that's the biggest thing is like just making it as easy for people to get. This game is going to generate a lot. It already has been generating a lot of hype. And, us fans that are collectors, we want to get the highest edition. Like you said, we're usually default going to that highest edition if we can get our hands on it. And I just think that, going to GameStop at this point only would just be a really bad business move. I 100% agree.
I will say one thing just on like the collector's edition. I would be shocked if Capcom capitalized on a Leon reveal for the collector's edition just to sell the collector's edition. Like, wouldn't that be crazy? Like, oh, we've got nothing new to show you, but here's a Leon statue for the collector's edition. It's gonna $300. It's gonna come from our website. Like, we're good to go. Like, those bitches are gonna sell out.
They're gonna sell out easily. Yeah, that would be the ultimate strategy, like business move. Like, how do we move these units as fast as we can? And
exactly.
Yeah, because people are like, they're curious about that. They're curious about what the cover art's gonna look like. None of that stuff has been really revealed, and I'm sure on the 29th we're gonna get just that. So it's been a little quiet. And when do you think that we actually will be able to play this demo? As far as like putting it out on PSN or PC, what have you, Xbox, like what do you like? Do you think it's going to be like really close to release, like a December, January type thing? Because that's kind of what I'm thinking at this point. It might even be not until January, like next year.
I think if they were to wait until next year to give us this demo, like, bro, that's like a slap in the face, especially when they've been on a massive tour, going to all these different groups and conventions, New York Comic Con, this Paris group recently, like everything in between, and whichever. It would be a slap in the face to wait until like a week or two before the game drops. I think they should drop it on a holiday this year, like maybe Thanksgiving or Christmas. I think that'd be great. That's what they should do.
Yeah. Was this a one-shot demo or no? Did it have like a timer on it? Did it seem like
yes?
It was a one-shot
There was a timer.
Demo. Okay. Because a lot of people were wondering if the one-shot demo is just for the sake of how it's set up at the cons, or if, like, when we get it, is it going to be like your like your RE2 one-shot demo or whatever? So that's interesting. Okay, so it was a one-shot. So I'm curious if they're going to do that again, if they make it, available for us to play. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Yeah, hope not. Yeah, because we're going to want to, when you have time and you're not getting rushed, you can kind of like go through it and really like, pick everything apart, go through it in first, go through it in third. Like, I feel like to make it a one shot, it would be like, oh man, all right, what am I going to do? First person or third? And then like, you never get a chance to see the second.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
Yeah. You're like, fuck, it's over,
Yeah.
But that's cool. That dude, it's awesome that you're able to come on here and just kind of like, share your New York Comic Con experience. Was it cool the rest of the time? Like after RE, what else did you do to wrap everything up?
Yeah. So like, going back, like it was cool to see games there. I saw a few, off top. It was like most of the Capcom stuff. I was a bit shocked because I went to a Ninja Gaiden 4 booth to see if they had a demo. And they didn't have a demo, and I was like, "Bro, why are you here?"
Interesting, yeah. Because isn't that coming out like next year, I think, or something like that? It has a date.
No. I think the fourth one it comes out like maybe this week. It's like right around the corner. It's like super close.
Okay,
yeah.
So I was way off.
But I was like, "Bro, like, why are you here?" And then like I was like, "So what are you guys doing?" And they were like, "Well, you could buy a T-shirt, and like they'll have a replica katana that can cut something that like spatters blood onto the shirt, like splatters blood onto the shirt." That was pretty much it. And I was like, okay, like.
Yeah, but you guys should have brought a demo. Yeah, you should have brought a demo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I mean, the only games I can think of that were there really were like Capcom.
Okay.
Honestly, like now I'm thinking about it, yeah.
Yeah, that's it's cool that they at least use that kind of as another platform, because again, it does sell out all the time. Like New York Comic Con sells out really quickly, typically, and it has a lot of get a lot of eyes on it. Like people are there for other things that they're into, and they're like, oh shit, there's games here. Like that's cool,
Right.
Or I know Resident Evil. Let me go, check that out. So that's really cool that they expanded and they did something like that. So. But yeah, man. Before we get out of here, let people know where they can find you as far as your channels. You got a couple channels, as some of you may know.
Yeah. Well, Purple Herb is my Resident Evil channel, but I haven't been active on there lately, so I wouldn't, worry about going there. But I'm on Mars. If you want to see action figure reviews done in a nature setting, then come check us out. We're the only channel on YouTube that goes out and reviews figures outdoors. We just did the new Storm Arena from Street Fighter Alpha, so if any of you all are fans of Street Fighter Alpha, check out those figure reviews. And that's all I got for you.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for sharing this with me, man. And thanks for always being good to the channel, good to us, and looking out for us always. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. Have a great night.
Thank you so much for all that information, man. And it was a great chat. And let's keep our eyes ahead as we'll see what this pre-order will entail as far as collector's edition, artwork reveal, and hopefully we get our hands on a demo sometime soon, because I really want to play this thing already. It's already been at all the major shows, so who knows when they will release that, but stay tuned for more news and updates. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take care.